He was buried alive for 3 days, and he survived, not in a war zone, not in some remote jungle, in a small town in Ohio, just off Route 23, a man named Daniel Reed, a school janitor, quiet, kind, never missed a day of work. They found his car abandoned by the roadside, keys still in the ignition, radio playing softly, no sign of struggle, no blood, only one thing out of place, a single shovel leaning against a tree. People assumed he'd walked home or gotten a ride, but Daniel didn't live nearby. He lived 20 miles away with his elderly mother, and he never left without telling her. That night, she called every hospital, every police station. She even drove to the school. His locker was untouched, overalls still hanging, lunchbox sealed. 3 days passed. Then a farmer digging near a cornfield hit something hard. Not rock, not root. It was a wooden box, buried 6 feet down. Inside was Daniel, alive, barely breathing, covered in dirt and sweat. But alive, his fingers were raw, nails broken, skin torn, like he had been clawing at the wood. For hours, maybe days, the lid showed deep scratches from the inside, hundreds of them. Some went all the way through. Doctors said it was a miracle. One lung collapsed, dehydration severe, body shutting down, but his mind, clear, focused. He whispered 2 words before passing out: "Find Sarah." Who was Sarah? No one knew. Daniel had no sister, no wife, no daughter, just his mother, and a quiet life. No social media, no criminal record, never even got a speeding ticket. So who was Sarah? And why did he say her name first? Police dug deeper, literally. They searched the entire field, found another box, smaller this time, empty, but labeled, with a name, Sarah, and a date, 5 years earlier. Same month Daniel started working at the school. Coincidence? Maybe, but then they checked old records, school maintenance logs. Daniel had reported a leaky pipe under Building C. 2 weeks before Sarah's date, he spent 3 days fixing it, alone, no supervisor, no co-workers, just him, and a flashlight, and dirt. Now they wondered, was that when it happened? Was Sarah buried then? And if so, why? And who put Daniel in the ground? This wasn't just an accident. This felt like revenge or punishment. Someone wanted Daniel to suffer, like Sarah suffered. But who? And how did Daniel not know? Or did he? That's when things got darker. Much darker. We think we know the people around us, our neighbors, co-workers, even family. But what if someone hides in plain sight? What if the quiet man you pass every morning holds a secret so heavy it could crush a soul? This isn't just a story about survival. It's about guilt, about silence, about what we bury, both literally and emotionally, and about how the past always finds a way out, even from 6 feet underground. Daniel Reed was born in 1982, middle child, 2 sisters, one older, one younger. Sarah, she was 4 years younger, always cheerful, always smiling. She loved drawing horses, used to sketch them on napkins. At breakfast, at dinner, even in church, their parents worked long hours, factory jobs, low pay, high stress, so Daniel often watched Sarah, took her to the park, helped with homework, made her laugh. When she fell off her bike, he carried her home, cleaned her knee, told her stories, said pain fades, but love stays. They were close, closer than most siblings. But love stays, they were close, closer than most siblings. Then, in 2003, everything changed. Sarah turned 15, started high school, new friends, new interests, boys, music, parties. Daniel didn't like it. He worried, especially about one boy, Jason Hartman, older, 17, dropped out, had a car, wore leather jackets, smoked behind the gym. Daniel saw him kiss Sarah once, behind the bleachers. He pulled Jason aside, warned him, stay away from her. Jason laughed, told him to mind his business. 2 nights later, Sarah didn't come home. Parents called police, searched parks, called hospitals, nothing. Daniel drove everywhere, street after street, gas tank near empty. Then, near Miller's Pond, he saw her coat. Pink, fuzzy, stuck in the reeds, water dark, cold. He ran in, mud up to his ankles, pulled her out. Too late, she wasn't breathing. No pulse, her skin pale, eyes open, frozen in fear. They said she slipped, fell in, hit her head, drowned, accident. But Daniel didn't believe it, not for a second. He remembered Jason, the smirk, the threat. You don't own her, freak. He went to Jason's house that night, knocked, no answer, peeked through the window, saw Jason laughing, drinking beer, with friends, no grief, no guilt, just joy. Something snapped. Daniel broke in. Fought Jason, choked him, almost killed him, stopped only when sirens approached, ran, got caught the next day, charged with assault, spent 6 months in jail, lost his job, family fell apart, mother cried for months, father left, the world moved on. But Daniel didn't, he blamed himself. If he had protected her better, if he hadn't let her grow up, if he had never looked away, she'd still be here. After jail, he disappeared, changed his name, moved to a new town, got a job as a janitor, kept his head down, worked hard, never dated, never smiled much. But every year, on the anniversary of her death, he visited Miller's Pond, left a drawing, a horse like she used to make, folded neatly, placed on a stone. No one saw him do it. He made sure. Until 2018, that's when Mark Teller started at the school. Vice principal, young, ambitious, liked to walk the halls at night, said he felt the energy of the building. One night, he saw Daniel by the pond, kneeling, crying. Mark didn't confront him, waited, watched, then followed him back. Saw where he lived. Met his mother. Talked to neighbors, asked questions. Soon, he knew everything about Sarah, about Jason, about the fight, about the guilt, and Mark had a problem, not with Daniel, with the truth. Because Mark wasn't just a vice principal, he was Jason's half-brother, same father, different mothers. They grew up together, like brothers. When Daniel attacked Jason, Mark was there, saw the rage, felt the fear, the fear, swore vengeance, but waited, planned. Now, fate handed him Daniel, on his knees, at a pond, grieving, alone. Mark smiled. He knew what to do. He started slow, small things, moving Daniel's tools, locking supply closets, reporting false complaints, made him look careless, unstable. Principal started doubting him, threatened suspension. Daniel said nothing, took the blame, but Mark wasn't done. He needed proof. Needed to know Daniel still hurt, still thought about Sarah. So one night, he planted a photo. In Daniel's locker, Sarah's face, young, smiling, with red marker across it, dead, like you should have been. Daniel froze, heart pounding, breath short. He stared, took the photo, burned it in the sink, said nothing, didn't report it, knew who did it, could feel Mark watching, but couldn't prove it, so he stayed quiet. Too quiet. Mark took it as weakness. Time to escalate. He studied the school blueprints, found a crawl space under Building C, abandoned, forgotten. Perfect. He bought a wooden crate, reinforced it, added air holes, fake them, but make them look real. Then he waited. October 17th, Sarah's birthday. Daniel always left early that day, visited the pond. Left the drawing. Mark followed. From a distance, saw Daniel kneel, pray, cry, then stand. Walked to his car. That's when Mark struck. From behind, hard, a metal pipe, one hit. Daniel dropped, out cold. Mark dragged him to a van, drove to the cornfield, owned by a cousin. No cameras, no neighbors, just silence. He placed Daniel in the box, strapped him down, left water, a little bread, left water, a little bread, left water, Bafton. Enough to survive, but not escape. Then buried him, 6 feet deep, with a shovel. He stood over the grave, smiled. "This is for Jason," he whispered. "For Sarah? You don't deserve her memory." Then he left. No remorse, only satisfaction. 3 days, that's how long he planned. 3 days of darkness, of panic, of realizing what it feels like to be helpless, to be forgotten, to be buried alive, to be forgotten, to be buried alive. Meanwhile, Daniel woke up. Dark, no light, no sound, chest tight, air thin. He screamed, no answer. Felt walls, wood, solid, pounded, yelled, no response. He reached for pockets, phone gone, wallet gone, only his hands and fear. He breathed slowly, tried to think. Where was he? Why? Then it hit him. Sarah, her face, the photo, Mark, it had to be revenge. For Jason, the photo, Mark, it had to be revenge. But Daniel didn't care about Jason. He cared about Sarah. And now, trapped underground, her memory filled his mind. Her laugh, her drawings, the way she said, "Danny? Every night, before bed, will you stay with me?" "Yes," he always said, always. Now he was alone, truly alone. He sobbed, then stopped. No time for tears. Need to survive. He felt the straps. Leather, tight. He twisted, pulled. "Oh!" One hand slipped, then the other. Free! He searched the box, found the water, drank slowly, sipped, saved the rest, ate the bread, tiny bites, thought of Mom. She'd be worried. Must get out. He kicked the lid. Once, twice, wood cracked, but held. He used his shoulder. Again, again. Nails breaking, but he kept going. Pushed dirt aside, made space, breathed deeper, more air, hope. He worked for hours, no idea of time, only motion, digging, pushing, fighting, his body weak, but his will strong. He thought of Sarah, not how she died, but how she lived, her smile, her courage, her stubbornness. If Danny can do it, I can, she'd say. Now he channeled her, thought like her, she'd say. Now he channeled her, fought like her, survived like her. Finally, the whole reached the surface. Cool air rushed in. He gasped, looked up. Stars, nighttime. He pulled himself out, slow, shaky, collapsed on grass, stared at the sky, alive, but not safe. Mark would come back. Check, see the empty box, then hunt him. Daniel crawled, then walked, then ran, found a road, flagged down a truck. Farmer, name was Earl. Took one look. Farmer, name was Earl. Took one look. Called 911. That's how they found him, how they heard the name Sarah, how the investigation began. Police ? He denied everything. Alibi solid, said he was at home, watching TV with his girlfriend, she confirmed. But detectives weren't fooled. They dug the field, found the second box, the small one, with Sarah's name. And the date, 5 years ago. Exactly, they tested it. Traces of soil. Matched to the school, under Building C. Daniel's repair job. They pulled old photos from Sarah's backpack, recovered after her death. One photo missing, of her and Daniel, at the fair. Smiling, hugging. Mark had it. Found in his desk drawer, burned edges, like he tried to destroy it, but failed. Then the final clue, security footage from a gas station, 2 miles from the cornfield. Van. Same model, Mark drove, same plate. Night of October 17th, time, stamped, 2014 a.m. Daniel unconscious in the back, Mark driving, head down, face visible, case closed. Arrested the next day, charged with kidnapping, attempted murder, illegal imprisonment, sentenced to 25 years, no parole. Daniel recovered, physically, but not mentally. He visited Mark in prison, physically, but not mentally. He visited Mark in prison. Once, stood outside the glass. Mark sneered. You deserved it. Daniel said nothing, just stared, then whispered, Sarah didn't. Turned, walked away, never went back. Mom passed 2 years later, peacefully, in her sleep. Daniel sold the house, donated the money to a youth center in Sarah's name. He still visits Miller's Pond every year on her birthday, leaves a drawing, a horse. On her birthday, leaves a drawing, a horse, sometimes 2. One for her, one for him. He sits for an hour, doesn't speak, just remembers, then leaves. No more guilt, no more anger, just love. That's what survived. Not the box, not the dirt, not the pain. Love, because even underground, in total darkness, Daniel didn't think about dying. He thought about Sarah and how she taught him to keep going, no matter what. This story isn't just about a man buried alive. It's about what happens when grief turns to rage and rage turns to revenge, but also how love can outlast both. Daniel didn't save himself with strength. He saved himself with memory, with connection, with the voice of a little girl saying, Danny, I'm here. Always. We all carry something, a loss, a regret, a secret. But we don't have to bury it. We don't have to hide. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is remember, out loud, in the light, not in silence, not in darkness. Daniel did that, not perfectly, not easily, but he did it. And because he did, if you found this story powerful, if it made you think or feel, found this story powerful, if it made you think or feel, please like this video and subscribe for more true stories of survival, of courage, of love that never dies,